What time is it? It's Packard Folks at time. Hat? Check. Shirt? Check. Pants? Optional. Mug? Double check. Check us out at cafepress.com/PackardPokesat where you can get all this great merchandise and more.
Do you like Packard Pokesat and want to hear it on demand and on the go? Download the free app today at Stitcher.com. Available on iOS, Android, Nook, and iPad.
This is Packard Pokesat, and I'm poking at your news. Hello, everybody. This is Packard Pokesat, the Midweek Show. This is Season 6, Episode 2. Are you ready for some Trump ball?
Oh, boy.
I can't believe these right-wingers. They think that the fact is that Trump has been tweeting at the NFL and saying bad things about them, because people are kneeling, and they think that Trump followers are going to take down NFL. Yeah, right. A few might burn up their tickets. Matt was telling me about that just before the show, but overall, no. They've got sales in the billions. So if you think just a few Trump supporters are going to take the NFL down or whatever, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, this is an organization that pretty much owns a day of the week that used to be owned by the church.
Pretty much, yes. Anyway, that's not my story. Tony, what is your story for this tonight?
Well, you may want to sit down and grab a lot of vodka, because I know I sure did when I pulled up this story. Apparently, major political win for lunatic Christian judge Roy Moore.
Oh, I heard about this guy. He got booted out of office several times, one of which, if I'm not mistaken, is because he told the people who are handing out marriage certificates, say, hey, you can't give out ones to gay people.
Yeah, well, not just that. He when he got on the Alabama Supreme Court, he hung 10 Commandments in the courtroom.
Yeah.
The ACLU sued him. They won, but he still refused to, so he got kicked off.
Yeah, and he also put up like a giant 10 Commandments monument type thing out in the front of the building too, and he fought that one and lost. He fought to have it removed, or not to have it removed, and he lost on that one too.
Well, now he's a senator. He's
not senator yet. He's the incumbent for the GOP. That's what I thought too, but I heard more about this, that he's actually going to be running against a Democrat down there as well. So they just picked him to be their running guy for Senate. He didn't actually win Senate yet.
Okay, because it says Roy Moore defeated Senator Luther Strange yesterday in the Republican runoff to fill the United States Senate seat vacated by Jeff Sessions.
Yeah. What's really interesting about this is the fact that Trump was supporting that other guy there, and Trump was tweeting for the guy that Moore was running against. Then Trump deleted his tweets when he lost.
Yeah, and later, further down the article, it goes pretty much of all of his faults, and says Moore had hung a homemade 10 Commandments plaque on the wall of his courtroom. Defendants in his court later complained about the religious display as well as Moore's practice of beginning the sessions with prayer. The ACLU sued Moore, who remained defiant against later court orders to remove the plaque. After gaining national attention for his stand on the 10 Commandments, Moore was urged to run for Chief Justice of the state Supreme Court, going on to defeat Associate Justice Harold C. in the GOP primary and Democratic challenger Sharon Yates in the general election. He was sworn in January 2001.
There's the part there where I was talking about the stone granite block of unconstitutional 10 Commandments that he put outside the building.
Yeah, and you were right. I think Supreme Court later said that court rulings later ordered Moore to remove the monument, though he remained defiant. Alabama's Supreme Court voted to overrule Moore's decision to disobey the court order, and complaint against him was filed with the Alabama Court of Judiciary.
The COJ issued a unanimous ruling that Moore had violated the canons of judicial ethics by defying the ruling and ordered that the Chief Justice be removed from office in 2003. The decision was upheld through several appeals.
Yeah.
I hope this guy doesn't make it into Senate. This guy would be a nightmare in office.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Just be another Jeff Sessions as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I hope this guy does not make it, because this guy, he looks like a total lunatic. There was actually a video I saw earlier today while he was at one of these rallies or whatever. He took out a gun and he's like pointing it up in the air. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Why would you do that?
What are you talking about, Packard? Nothing ever bad happens when you pull a gun out in public. Everyone knows that.
especially when you're a senator or running for Senate. That's amazing. That these people, they're crazy. They're just crazy.
Separation of church and state.
Yes,
Yeah.
I like the separation of religion and planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we vote for separation of religion and planet, please?
Yeah.
They could all go to the moon.
Yeah. No, I don't want to put it on the moon because knowing them, they'll try to pray the moon into the earth and smash it up.
Just send it to outer space.
Yeah, just send them to outer space. Just send all the religious people to outer space. And no, actually, that's actually a bad idea. We should keep that stuff here. If we did that here and they get out to the rest of the galaxy, some intelligent species go, these people are crazy. We got to find them and wipe them out because this is like chicken pox.
Oh, that's true.
This population is too crazy to be out here in the universe. Get rid of them. So we don't want to do that.
Yeah, we don't want to send the alien space junk.
No, don't want to send the alien space junk. There's enough junk out there floating around as is, and we don't need to show them how crazy we are by sending them those kind of people. So, Matt, have you got a story for us tonight?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
A girl in Colorado is suing her former college.
Well, why would someone want to sue a college?
Oh, gee, because she's an atheist.
She's just suing just because she's an atheist? That sounds like kind of a dick move.
Well, let me tell you the story, and you can get a better understanding of it.
Well, that sounds like a good idea.
All righty.
All right.
A former Delta High School student sued the Delta County Joint School District. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a high school student.
Oh, it's a high school student. That makes a lot more sense.
It's not a college student.
Okay. The way this reads out, it probably would have affected her college.
Well, yeah, apparently it did. A former high school student sued the Delta County Joint School District number 50, claiming teachers gave the A student a failing grade and sabotaged her college applications because of her atheist views in opposition to religious proselytizing and instruction in the public school. Denver attorneys Jeffrey Springer and Andrew Reed filed a civil lawsuit Monday on Sidney Fisk's behalf in U.S. District Court in Denver against the district and school officials. Fisk is seeking damages for economic losses, emotional distress, and humiliation. District Superintendent Karen Gibson, who was named as a defendant in the case, declined to comment about the lawsuit because the district has not been served and does not know Fisk's allegations. It says during her 2015-16 year, Fisk had a 4.1 grade point average, which is pretty good.
Yeah, 4.1, that's pretty good. I mean, 5.0 is, I think, the very high end, but 4.1 is still pretty good.
Yeah. She was captain of the school speech and debate team, a student body treasurer, and a reporter for the student magazine, the Delta Paw Print.
Sounds like she was pretty busy.
Yeah, but her opposition to teachers, school board members, and administrators, who she claims espoused religious views in school settings and meetings, put her at odds with them, the lawsuit says. I guess, for example, there was a Bible teacher camp who once stated her Christian belief at a school board meeting that transgender students should be castrated. Wow.
That's pretty horrible.
Yeah, that's very horrible.
Keep that stuff to yourself. You don't want transgender people? Keep that to yourself.
Right.
It didn't do anything to you. And if you think that should be castrated, well, then maybe we should do the same thing to you, lady. Have you castrated? How would you like it if we went around saying anybody who believes in God should be castrated so they don't reproduce and spread their message to their children or have children? That would be pretty awful.
Yeah. Well, it says also when Fisk and other students wore costumes in 2014 in opposition to State Amendment 67, which sought personhood status for fetuses, a teacher told her to take the costume off because God gave babies life and abortion is murder. There we go again, church and state.
Yep.
Get it out of the schools.
Yeah, that whole notion that God gave babies life, that's just called biology. That's not a God. If you really want to go that route, they haven't read their Bible, because the fact is that the Bible says exactly how to induce an abortion, and it's actually more pro-abortion than it is pro-life.
Yeah,
This is really horrible, these people here. I do want to read a part here. It says at a meeting, a counselor warned her that she could be removed from her student government position and lose college scholarship opportunities, the lawsuit says. So they were already telling her, you better do as we say, and you better, believe what we believe, or we'll screw up your future. And that's just wrong.
Oh, exactly.
And it's coming from the same group of people that love to play the victim.
Yeah, exactly. I come across these people on Google Plus all the time. Oh, we're being persecuted. Oh, you don't want to believe me, you're persecuting me because you're standing up for yourself. No, you're over 80% of the majority of people in this country alone. You are not in the minority. You can't be persecuted. I don't understand what it is about religious people that think that if you stand up against them, that they think that they're being persecuted. I know it's written into their texts, so they think, oh, and this is part of the Bible. It says, quote unquote, the last days, people are going to, stand up against you, and so those people are going to be persecuting you. The fact is that this mentality was probably put in there saying, hey, we need to keep this religion going. So we're going to tell people that as time progresses, because they probably saw it in that time period as well, that people were not believing them and pushing back maybe a little bit on some points, like the way they used to push it back against the Greeks with all their gods, before, when Constantine kind of whittled down all the other deities down to one. And that's why they follow, this particular deity. If it wasn't for Constantine, we'd probably still have multiple deities out there roaming around that people would believe in. Who knows? Or maybe we'd have none by now.
Well, it goes on to say down here, Fisk and friends wore T-shirts before the presentation that said, I prefer science and I abstain from ideology or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wore those in, I was reading this earlier. They wore those in response to some abstinence assembly that they were forced to go to.
Yeah, because there was a faith-based instructor to speak about sex education at a mandated school assembly. She was told the religious tones would not hurt anybody.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Shelley Donahue was the teacher, and she teaches abstinence as the only way to prevent pregnancy, the lawsuit says.
Every state that has an abstinence-only policy has the highest number of unwed mothers from people who were taught abstinence only.
And teen pregnancy.
Yeah, and teen pregnancy, exactly. Because they're taught, don't do anything with your junk. You actually think that that's going to happen. If you actually believe that, you need to go back to remedial education and to understand the human condition, because people have these drives and people want to use them and they feel them. By telling them no, you're not going to make them stop. That's just idiotic.
Yeah, it is. I mean, people just don't understand.
Yeah.
While we are poking at your news, you can poke us at Facebook and Twitter, or poke us with an email at ppapodcast@gmail.com, or leave us a message at 662-709-PPAP. Join us live on YouTube/Packard Pokesat on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time. Be part of the conversation by live chatting with us during the show. Enjoy the show? Help support us by becoming a monthly patron at patreon.com/Packard Pokesat. Or look awesome by buying something at cafepress.com/Packard Pokesat. No money, no problem. You can help us by sharing the show with friends and rate us on iTunes and Stitcher. For everyone that shares and rates us, you kick ass.
The Atheists,
The Bible.
and No Wardrobe, the podcast.
Wait a minute. No wardrobe? You mean we're going to be naked while we do this?
Well, seeing how I'm an atheist and I'm reading the Bible, and since clothes are flammable,
Fire! Fire! Fire!
I thought it might be a good idea to take them all off first.
Naked or not, follow along as we read, analyze, and try to keep you from falling asleep as we go through this boring-ass book.
Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spreaker. Who knows? We may even be on YouTube someday. Well, I've got a story here. There was a controversial atheist that was over in Singapore. His name is Amos Yee. I don't know if we've touched base on him or not, but he's over in Singapore. And he had some very, very aggressive anti-religious views on his YouTube channel. And he was told, if you do this, you're going to get arrested. And in one case, he did get arrested. And one of the other things was he would also talk about, not besides just the Bible, he'd talk about the Quran and whatnot. And they eventually ended up jailing him for a much longer time. However, he's been granted asylum here in the United States. This has been in the works for some time now from Pathos. By way of background, you may recall that Yee was arrested and convicted of wounding up religious feelings and obscenity in 2015 after he made a video mocking Christianity along with Singapore's founding father, Lee Kin Yee. Though he was handed a jail sentence of multiple weeks, the court awarded him time served for how long he had been in custody and basically let him go. He just went back and made some more videos, and then they rearrested him, as I recall. Then last summer, they came after him again. The 17-year-old was arrested on May 11th and released on a bail of $5,000. 5 of the charges Yi faces are allegedly wounding up the religious feelings of Muslims, and one for allegedly wounding up the religious feelings of Christians. Because over there, if you say something bad about my religion, you hurt my feelings, and that hurt my feelings, you go to jail. What kind of nonsense is this?
Well, tell you with the stuff keeping up over here, it's probably going to happen here.
I've brought this up to people on groups where, you post anonymously. I said, if they made a law which said if someone said something you didn't like about your religion, they went to jail, would you stand up behind it? Some people were saying no. Only a few said yes. So I don't know. Maybe it would happen here. If it did, I'm wondering how many people that were religious would turn into people who are atheists. I'm just kind of curious on that myself.
I didn't think about that.
Apparently, the charges are under Section 298 of the Penal Code. If convicted, Yi could spend up to 3 years in jail in addition to a fine. Yi was thankfully hit with a jail sentence that only lasted 6 weeks. Any amount of time is too much to be sure, but in this case, it would have been much worse. He also had to pay a fine of $2,000. But in December, Yi came to Chicago on a tourist visa with the hope of seeking asylum, but perhaps because of that bait and switch, he wasn't actually a tourist. He was kept in detention. He had a case, though. If he was sent back home, he risked further persecution or worse, jailed, or sometimes those religious people, especially Muslims, if they don't like what you're saying, they've been known to find people who do this and then they kill them outright just for saying, hey, I don't believe in your religion. I can't see why religion has to go to that extreme. If your religious feelings get hurt this bad, where you have to kill the person who says something bad about your religion, then your religion is wrong. You're basically proved that your religion is false.
Right.
Yep.
Now, what happened since then was reported in a great detail by BuzzFeed last month, but the fact remained that Yi was still not free and his status was unknown. Apparently, that's about to change. A federal immigration appeals court has ruled in favor of granting him asylum, upholding a ruling from a lower court judge. The Board of Immigration Appeals agreed in a decision last week that received by the attorneys Tuesday that Amos Yi had a well-founded fear of being persecuted upon returning to Singapore. The board determined that the Chicago judge correctly relied on the expert and witness testimony in asylum proceedings earlier this year. U.S. Department of Homeland Security attorneys opposed his asylum bid. The judges ruled properly in this instance. They said, hey, yeah, he should be able to stay. So you got to grant him asylum. I'm wondering if somebody's like, oh, man, we got another atheist in this country. Who?
Probably.
Yeah.
Those darn atheists.
Those darn atheists, now they're importing them from other places, huh?
Well, I mean, at least he got asylum. That's good.
Yeah, well, he's being granted asylum anyway. So I don't know if he's actually got it yet, but I mean, he's in the process of being granted asylum anyway.
He's in Chicago, huh?
Yeah, he's in Chicago.
Oh, my neck of the woods.
Yeah, find him. Yeah, have him over. Bring him on the show.
I got an extra microphone.
There you go. He's right in your neighborhood, so hey, why not? So, and I have another one. The whole scandal with Donald Trump right now. Yeah.
The NFL.
NFL and things like that. But this is not quite him, but I mean, it's within his circle here. Jared Kushner's lawyers were apparently fooled by pranksters. This shows you how smart these lawyers are.
Yeah.
They're fooled by the pranksters into giving them email scandal details. The prankster was pretending to be Kushner and providing insight in how his attorneys were handling the email scandal. Okay. The Business Insider reported top Washington lawyer Abel Lowell engaged in an email exchange with the prankster, posing as client Jared Kushner on Monday, at one point telling the prankster that he needed to see all the emails sent and received from a private email account the president's son-in-law had kept in December. Okay, let's stop right there for just a second. What was the big thing during the election? Everybody was saying about Hillary, lock her up because she was using a private email server and using private emails. Kushner, Ivanka, and several other people on the Trump team, they were also all doing the same exact thing. So where's the outcry to lock them up? Where? I don't hear anything. I don't hear anybody saying lock them up because they were using private email servers doing government business. That's what their big contention was, that Hillary was doing government business on those private email server or a private email address. And the fact is they were doing it too, but no one is crying lock them up. That's hypocrisy 101 for the GOP.
And Fox News as well.
I've not seen one iota word about this on Fox News.
Oh, of course not. They won't post that. They don't put that in their news.
No, of course not. And this is from a company that always used to say fair and balanced. We had talked about, they said that they weren't going to be using that anymore. But on the radio in the mornings, the news comes on right when I'm on my way to work and they say, Fox News, fair and balanced. So they're still using it. They are still using it.
Wow.
So Yeah.
I'm sure if it was something about Obama, they'd be plastering it all over the place.
Oh, absolutely, they would have been. I'll go on here with the article here. It says the exchange in which the prankster provided to Business Insider came up to, as Kushner as dealing with his own minor email scandal and offers a window in how his team responded to the initial stages. Kushner's lawyers haven't seen all the emails that Trump's son-in-law sent containing official government business on private email account. To put it mildly, this is a problem, but it also became a constant theme of the Russian scandal. The Trumps appear to be withholding information from their own legal representation. That's interesting. When you don't even tell your own lawyers everything, ooh, some bad mojo going on there.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I know, right? The lawyers began working with both Kushner and Trump had been blindsided by developments that they found their way into the press that the attorney did not have prior knowledge of. The attorney shouldn't be so easily fooled by a prankster. One would think that Lowell would have taken at least a moment to verify that it was actually the client that was sending him emails, or at least the email address matched the one that they had on file. You know, you have a bad attorney when it's like, oh, I'm Jared Kushner. Can you send me copies of all the email stuff? Because I've lost it. And oh, don't mind this new email address. I locked myself out of the other one for some reason. I can't get in and trying to get my password back. But in the meantime, send them to me here. You pick up the phone. You say, hello, Kushner. Hey, or client or whoever it is. And you say, hey, is this really you? And you get a verification, yes or no. Let's use a modicum of discretion and intelligence here, which goes to show that Trump's lawyers may not be the sharpest tools in the shed. I'm just saying.
Total lack of common sense, maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole GOP in a nutshell right there.
Yeah.
Here's the ones I was talking about earlier. For Luther Strange, apparently Trump had deleted these tweets. I mentioned this earlier. Now, these are the tweets that he posted. He said, big election tomorrow in the great state of Alabama. Vote for Senator Luther Strange. Tough on crime and border. We'll never let you down. And then he deleted that tweet because Luther Strange lost. The other one was, Luther Strange has been shooting up in the Alabama polls since my endorsement. Finish the job. Vote today for Big Luther. I don't think I would vote for anybody named Luther, because I'd be worried his nickname was Lex.
Right?
And then he goes, Alabama, in all caps. Get out and vote for Luther Strange. He has proven me that he will never let you down. # mega. So, but it was embarrassing enough that Trump had, stumped for him and he lost. But Trump thought, well, I can't let people know that I actually was behind somebody that lost because I only support winners. I don't support losers. So he took the tweets down. But this is the internet. Everything you put on the internet lives somewhere. So you think that you deleting a tweet makes it go away? No. That embarrassing photo that you took of your kids or your kids took of you or you of yourself and you posted it online somewhere, it's still out there. I'm just saying, it doesn't matter if you thought you deleted it. The only way you can delete it permanently is you have to delete the entire internet, and that's not happening. Somebody's got a copy somewhere.
Yeah, there's always something.
This just popped up here really quick. I know right up the end of our hour here, but this just popped up. Mark Zuckerberg responds to Trump and regrets he dismissed election concerns. I'm sorry, this just popped up on my news feed on my phone. Mark Zuckerberg said late on Wednesday that President alleging that Facebook has always been against him is wrong, and said that the social network was overall force for good in the 2016 U.S. election. And then Trump said Facebook is against him. Liberals say we help Trump. Both sides are upset about the ideas content that they don't like. That's what's running the platform for all ideas, looks like, the Facebook CEO said in a post. The billionaire also said he regretted a comment from last year saying that any idea that Facebook impacted the election was crazy. So those are just some quotes from Mark Zuckerberg here. So, yeah, Zuckerberg was apparently denying for a long time that Facebook had been taken over by people who were buying ads for these negative ads against Hillary Clinton at the time with rubles. And the fact is that didn't give him a clue, and they kept saying, no, that didn't happen. And then a few weeks ago, I guess it did happen. It's against the law for anybody else that's outside the United States to do that. If you want to put an ad, like, if you're in the United States, you want to put an ad out and you have the money to do so, you can do it. It's money that comes from outside the country. You can't do that. It's illegal all the way around. It doesn't matter if it's for Democrat or Republican. You just can't do it.
Oh, wow. So they were actually... So that's what they were doing?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. So Yeah, so they finally coming clean on this, and they're turning I think there's some of this information they're turning over to Mueller and a few other places too. I could be wrong on that last part, but I think that's what it is. Well, it says there the state Senate, the Senate Intelligence Committee Chairman Richard Burr said earlier this month he intended to call Facebook to Washington to testify about the impact its political ads may have influenced on the campaign. So he may be going to Washington. So we got a lot of stories in today in just a little few minutes here. Just there's even talk that maybe if this turns out that the whole election was rigged right from the start, Hillary Clinton had said that she's not going to be doing anything more with politics. But I think she kept in reserve. Now, I think she just came out not that long ago, maybe last week or earlier this week. She said, if I'm getting this wrong, someone can correct me, that if it turns out that the election was rigged to get Trump into office, then she would probably go back to court to challenge it properly. And then maybe we can get him and all the cronies in Washington from the GOP out, and then Hillary would get in at that point. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to wait to see, you know.
That would be a long shot.
Yeah, it's a bit of a long shot, but if that's what happened, then we might be looking at the weirdest presidency election in recorded history. Where if it changes, they decide to kick out both of them and then give it to Hillary say, hey, you're actually the legitimate winner of this, that would be the weirdest thing that's ever happened in this country.
Yeah, well, not that it's already weird already.
Yeah, that's true. Not that it's not weird enough already, but yeah, this is really weird. Anyway, we'll be back on Friday with our Okay, Let's Talk. We're going to be discussing death and how to deal with it as an atheist. And by the way, it's coming up close to the end of the month, and I really need your support to be able to keep my lights on and my roof over my head. So if you go to paypal.me/PackardPokesat and make a donation to me directly so I can continue to living indoors, because I kind of enjoy living indoors. So if you could help out that way, I'd be greatly appreciative. Or go to patreon.com/PackardPokesat, where you can set up an account there and send me a couple dollars, and it's per episode now. It's not per month, it's per episode. So that way I can pay some of these bills. So make a donation there, or you can make a donation directly at the paypal.me/PackardPokesat or patreon.com/PackardPokesat. Either way, if you want to help me out and keep me alive. So I'd greatly appreciate that. So we'll be back on Friday. We'll see you then. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
And that's a wrap.